Now that the hype around the Galaxy S24 Ultra is settling, I want to talk a little more in detail about the phone. Although my in-depth review of the phone is going to take more time, I want to get into the depths of, understanding Galaxy AI and all the hardware upgrades that have been made to the Galaxy S24 Ultra. Now you must be wondering, why Galaxy AI? Because AI is the future of smartphones, and it's going to be a mix of on-device and cloud-based generative artificial intelligence. In fact, the way we review phones is going to change in the future entirely, with software and AI taking precedence over every other singular factor. And all of that starts with this phone, the Galaxy S24 Ultra. So what are you waiting for? If you're here for the first time, I'm Ershad, you're watching Trakin English, your destination for detailed, incisive gadget reviews. Now, first things first, Galaxy AI is a suite of features that has been introduced to the Galaxy S24 Ultra. In fact, the entire S24 series, which uses a mix of both on-device artificial intelligence and cloud-based AI. Now, if you want all of that AI to happen only on device, you can switch that on too. Samsung gives you the control. There is a toggle for it. You can switch it on. There's no problem in that. But if you do that, one of that AI feature will not work, and that's generative edit. Basically, this feature requires a constant internet connection to make generative edits. Talking about which, the generative edit feature itself works well enough. Once you've taken the picture, you open it in the gallery app and you hit the edit button, and in that edit function, you've got the Galaxy AI generative edit feature in that, typical logo that you've been seeing all this while. Essentially, with generative edits, you can actually select subjects, move them around, and even delete them entirely from the picture. In fact, you can make multiple selections at once and make all of the edits at once too, which is damn cool, which is something that no other phone has done till now. One of the interesting things that I noticed with this generative edit feature is that if you shoot a crooked picture, a lot of people do that, I've seen it, and the horizon is tilted, you can straighten it out without having to crop out any bit of information. So what that generative edit feature does is that it actually fills in information that's missing, so you don't have to miss out on details. In fact, this also works with crooked subjects within the frame, and you can correct them and you don't have to crop any part of them out, which is damn cool. And you know what? Whatever generative edits you make, Samsung ensures that there is a watermark of Galaxy AI on top of it, so that you know that it has been edited using generative AI. And the phone also adds that information to the metadata. This is the right way to do AI, especially considering that deepfakes are becoming pretty common these days. But my most favorite Galaxy AI implementation has to be the instant slow-mo feature. It's pretty damn awesome. Any video that you shoot, whether it's 1080p 30 fps, 1080p 60 fps, 4K 30 fps, 4K 60 fps, all of that can be converted into 120 fps or 240 fps slow motion video. Essentially, the S24 Ultra fills frames in between to make that slow motion video, and it's done seamlessly. It literally looks like you've actually shot the video. The advantage of the AI being this good is that you generally don't have to use the slow motion mode to shoot high frame rate video. Because when you do that, you must have noticed in low light situations, there is flicker that is added. But now you can shoot normal 30 fps or 60 fps videos in low light without the loss of information or flicker, and you can convert that and upscale that to 120 fps or 240 fps, which is damn cool, right? Live translate is obviously another cool feature, and there are 13 languages supported at the moment, which includes Hindi as well. I hope that more Indian languages are added in the future. Essentially, during a live call, whether it's from a smartphone or a landline, if you're talking to somebody in a language that you do not understand, you can switch on this feature and you will get a translation immediately. In fact, a voice reads out the transcript for you, making it easier for you to have a normal conversation with somebody who probably speaks in Spanish and you don't. So we tested out the feature in Hindi, and the live translate feature works fairly well too.
सारे फोटोज जो हमने किए.
All the photos that are.
Oh, alright. I'll send it to you, but do you need via WhatsApp or via mail?
ठीक है, मैं इसे आपको भेजूंगा, लेकिन क्या आपको WhatsApp या मेल के माध्यम से चाहिए?
व्हाट्सएप पे HD फोटोज सेंड कर दो मुझे.
Send me an HD photo on WhatsApp.
But when AI keeps getting better and more information is added, hopefully the kinks are ironed out as well, and the feature becomes even better in the future. An extension of the live translate feature is the AI interpreter feature. So you can basically invoke the interpreter directly from the quick settings toggle itself. It's as simple as that. You can basically have a normal conversation with anyone without having to worry about the fact that you don't speak their language. In our testing, it worked fairly well, provided your pronunciations and diction is in order. By the way, I'm going to Barcelona for Mobile World Congress next month, and I'm hoping to use this feature a lot because, of course, I don't speak Spanish yet, at least. Also, one interesting thing that I noticed is that all of the recent translations that has happened through the interpreter app, they're saved for 24 hours before they're erased, of course. Another natural extension of the translate feature is the chat assist feature. Using this feature, you can actually translate text messages received in any language that you don't understand, whether you've sent it or received them. By the way, you will have to download the different language packs before you can use this, and you have to store it offline as well. Therefore, all of the processing happens on device only. Now, chat assist also summarizes some chats for you if there are long chats that have been sent. And apart from that, you also get message tone suggestions, which means the tone at which you want to set the message, whether you want it to be formal or social. All of that can be done with this feature itself. Now, I'm somebody who's terrible with using emojis in a normal conversation, so it does come in handy, to me sometimes. Now, you also do get generative wallpapers. Now, this feature actually creates wallpapers based on a few predefined prompts. And I think I've seen a maximum of 3 different, variations that you can try out. And the images that we got out of it are pretty damn cool as well. Now, as a user, you must be wondering, what if I gave it my own unique individual prompt? I gave the entire prompt myself. Would it be able to create an image? Well, for that, you need more processing power. Smartphones today won't be able to handle that. And there are special online tools for it. Notes Assist, like I said in my previous video, summarizes your notes. It creates lists. It also creates covers, all of that on its own. And there's a feature called Transcript Assist, which basically works with your voice recorder, and it can help you translate, transcribe, or even summarize your voice notes for you. In fact, it's able to transcribe a conversation with up to 20 speakers at once. Imagine how useful it would be in meetings to take notes and, create minutes of the meeting with such a tool. But since this feature is in its nascent stages, AI is still learning how to translate properly, and Samsung tells me that it'll get better in the future as it keeps learning. And finally, we've got the new Circle to Search feature, which is a logical extension of Google Lens. Basically, if you see something that you like, all you need to do is long press the home button or the gesture handlebar, and you can just circle on that thing and figure out what exactly it is if you don't know about it. So I am definitely going to be using this feature a lot, especially when I scroll through Instagram Reels and I see something that I like, especially a jacket that somebody's wearing, a shirt, or maybe even shoes, that I can immediately find out what that is. Oh, and one more very important Google feature that Samsung is actually using is the entire LLM. The LLM that is being used for processing on-device data is based on Google's new Gemini Nano LLM. So LLM is the large language model that is required for you to have all of these AI features running, and Samsung has been at the forefront of it. Remember how I was really excited about the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 introducing new AI experiences? Samsung obviously has Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 for Galaxy on the Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra, and it is powering a lot of these experiences. Alright, that was the Galaxy AI bit. Now let's talk about the hardware. Of course, the Galaxy S24 Ultra has a new titanium frame, and it is slimmer than the Galaxy S23 Ultra. And it also feels lighter due to the use of lighter materials, and even the weight distribution has been done really well. The in-hand feel is very, very good now. This despite having entirely flat sides, mind you. And with the use of titanium, you now get a matte finish. It's not glossy anymore like it was the case with aluminum, and I really like the matte finish and the squared off edges. I like this phone better than the S23 Ultra. It's subtle upgrades, but it does look good in terms of design and feels good in the hand as well. More importantly, the upgrades to the display are more appreciable. First thing I want to talk about is that this display has Corning Gorilla Armor protection, and apparently it's tougher than Corning Gorilla Glass Victus and Victus 2, and it has better scratch resistance as well. In fact, Samsung claims that even if you put the phone in your pocket along with the keys, then the micro abrasions are kept at bay. Now, this is something that is a huge problem on ceramic shield on the iPhone 15 Pro Max. That's not a concern with the S24 Ultra, at least not in the limited time that we've used it. And that apart, this Gorilla Armor also ensures that reflections are reduced to such a minimum that when you see it right next to the iPhone 15 Pro Max's display, you can tell the difference. The iPhone 15 Pro Max is extremely reflective compared to the S24 Ultra. This will definitely improve the usability of the display in harsh lighting conditions. In fact, it's one of the best displays on a phone that I've seen till now. The highest brightness that the display can touch in high brightness mode is 1500 nits, which is also very, very bright. In general, HDR content looks good, and I've never had any problem with Samsung displays anyway. Also, I'm glad that Samsung is not merely running after, high brightness metrics and giving you usable brightness data. Also, there's a vision booster mode that has been added to the Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra, and it's on by default. You don't have to switch on a toggle or something, which basically improves the readability and visibility under direct sunlight. So when you take this display outdoors, it is going to be one of the least reflective displays, and it's going to have great visibility as well. However, if you ask me, the most important change to the Galaxy S24 Ultra is the fact that it's entirely flat now. After introducing the curved display for the very first time and using it until the Galaxy S23 Ultra, of course, the degree of curvature kept reducing. Now we have an entirely flat display. And if you ask me, flat displays are better than curved displays. I've always said that, and I continue to say it. I like this direction that Samsung has taken. What do you think about it? Let me know in the comments below. And the bezels around the corners of the display are so damn slim that you get great screen estate. It's pretty good. Trust me, if you're a gamer, you're definitely going to appreciate this flat display for sure. Which brings me to the system on chip that's inside the Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra. That is the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 for Galaxy. And of course, you also get LPDDR5X RAM and UFS 4.0 storage. The base variant is 12 GB. And you get 3 storage options, 512, 256 and 1 TB. I don't know why I started with 512, but yeah, 256, 512 and 1 TB. Of course, this chip has ray tracing capabilities, and Samsung did showcase Arena of Valor at the event. I'm, itching to play that game. It's not here yet. But yeah, I mean, ray tracing capabilities are present on the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 for Galaxy. And to top it off, Samsung says that the vapor cooling chamber's size has been increased for better heat dissipation. Now, honestly speaking, I've not had enough time to do detailed tests. There are so many phones launching. I am going to be doing that in due course, but we did run Antutu and Geekbench, and these are the scores that we got. Of course, to run these tests, it is essential that you switch on the performance mode from the game tools and ensure that, Antutu and Geekbench are running from the game tools itself. And the scores are actually not as high as the other Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 phones that we've tested till date. But I did play like 5 or 6 sessions of Call of Duty back to back at medium graphics and 120 frames per second, and it doesn't break a sweat. It gets slightly warm around this area, but it doesn't get too hot, and you can play for long without having to worry about the frames dropping either. Plus, that flat display, it makes the gaming experience even better. However, I'm definitely going to be doing a detailed gaming review of the phone along with information on how Genshin Impact performs as well. The other thing that we noticed is that the Galaxy S24 Ultra's battery life is surprisingly decent. We've only done one run till now where we were pushing the device for benchmarks and photographs and everything, but we ran it with QHD plus resolution on as well, and the phone gave us 5 hours 10 minutes of screen on time, but we're expecting it to be even better after it starts calibrating itself. So 6 to 7 hours of screen on time is something that you can easily expect from the Galaxy S24 Ultra. It's what we presume, but again, I'll get back to you on more data with that. Software is obviously One UI 6.1 based on Android 14, and One UI 6.1 has been tuned exceptionally well. The phone is smooth and fast, and this is one of the best One UI experiences I've experienced till now. 6.1 is the best One UI till now. Samsung has been listening to all of the feedback about animation speeds and everything, and has improved that extensively on the Galaxy S24 Ultra, and of course, with the software itself. But of course, the most awesome piece of news is that the Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra will support 7 years of OS updates. How cool is that? I think that's possibly one of the best moves that brands can make these days. In fact, up until now, Samsung did support 4 years of software updates and 5 years of security updates. So Samsung's been good on its promises as well with respect to software updates. So kudos to Samsung for that. Alright, the major change in the Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra with respect to cameras is the new 50MP 5x camera. Samsung also claims that the phone can do 10x photos without loss of too many details and with great enhancements with Galaxy AI as well. According to Samsung, the Galaxy S24 Ultra is their first phone that can do quad tele, basically 2x, 3x, 5x, and 10x, because they believe that 10x is actually that good. I did take a few shots with the 5x camera, and the details, not just in daylight, but also in low light, are extremely good. They're crisp, they're sharp as well. But most importantly, the portrait shots that we got with the 5x camera, oh my god, they were damn good. The semantic segmentation and of course the kind of digital blur that you get with it has been done so well that it almost feels like you're using a DSLR. And even the 10x photographs looked pretty decent with enough details on offer, but I will definitely have to test it to a proper 10x camera, the Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra. Stay tuned for that video. In fact, Samsung also says that low light portraits have been enhanced with the help of AI, and we noticed that with the 5x portrait shots that we got in low light. The only issue that I noticed right now with the Galaxy S24 Ultra is that there is a slight bit of color variance that I noticed between the 3x and the 5x shots. Hopefully Samsung can fix that with an update. That apart, another camera upgrade that I highly appreciate is the fact that you can actually shoot 4K 120 FPS videos using the Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra now, straight out of the box. In fact, the video recording quality on the S24 Ultra seems to have been improved quite a bit from the S23 Ultra, especially in low light where I see far fewer grains and noise. And you can also shoot up to 8K videos if you like shooting 8K videos using the 5x camera as well. One of the nicer features on the phone, and that is also AI related, is the fact that within the gallery app, you get edit suggestions. So sometimes when you take a shot and there are reflections or unwanted shadows, you can actually remove them, but you don't have to remember to do it. You can just swipe up from the picture and the phone itself will recommend that to you. In fact, you can also remaster your pictures to make it look even more detailed. So the camera setup on the S24 Ultra has of course improved with the advancements to AI, but I'm doing my detail tests and you will see more comparisons in the near future. So stay subscribed for it. The Galaxy S24 Ultra, in my opinion, is a peek at what the future of smartphones looks like. I would say the AI phone has well and truly arrived. This is the start of things. Maybe you might not feel like it's a big thing right now and you're a little cautiously optimistic about it, but trust me, AI is definitely going to be the future. What I'd like to know, if you believe in the future of AI, is that how would you use the Galaxy S24 Ultra's features creatively? All of the features that I did talk about, let me know in the comments below, because what I will do is also try to use it the same way for the detailed review that I do a month later. And that'll also help me give you guys honest feedback on what I think about the S24 Ultra's features and if I did actually use it or not, or how I did use it in my daily life. So I'd love to know that. So please take to the comment section. And while you do that, I will start working on the next video and I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, keep tracking and stay safe.